Alright, what's going on, you guys? This is Wingnut Radio and Jazz sitting out here by the creek, and she's just running around up and down the creek and enjoying the day. So, how are y'all doing in the Matrix? Have you guys figured out how to get out of it yet? Well, I'm going to tell you something, man. We need to get out of the Matrix by the millions. Just a few here and there. It's not really cutting it. We've got to wake people up to the point where, hell, listen. Start asking yourself this question. Okay, out of the earnings that we labor for, that gets stolen from us in the form of taxes, what is that tax dollars doing? I mean, because quite honestly, what I see, it ends up doing all kinds of stuff against us. Like paying these governors that are acting like kings and trying to punish us if we don't follow their edicts. Or it helps fund the World Health Organization. Or it helps fund the IRS and the Federal Reserve. It also helps fund the UN. It also helps fund all these endless, no-exit strategy wars. That's what it does. That's what our hard-earned labor, the earnings of our hard-earned labor, end up doing. Yeah, you can sit there and rationalize, we gotta have taxes or we wouldn't have roads. I'm really sick and tired of that argument. It is the stupidest freaking argument. The roads were already paid for in blood back in the day. I mean, people, we inherited a lot of good stuff that we have squandered and allowed to be taken away from us. Because you've just given it up. They forced you to give it up, basically. They forced you to voluntarily give it up. Forceful voluntarism. Oxymoron. How could it be voluntary if it's forced? But that's how this stuff works right now. It's either either you give us consent to take all your rights away from you, or we'll punish you if you don't. I don't know what the answers are to resolve this, to get our remedy. Because I know that we've got the ballot box, we've got the soap box, and we've got the cartridge box. That's how we remedy things. Well, quite honestly, if the soap box and the ballot box are not working and not getting the results that we the people desire, what's the only option left? I mean, I'm sure all y'all know what it is. So the thing is, man, and I've heard somebody else say this too, and I feel the same. It was my thought also when it came down to it, and I was glad to hear other people actually express the same feelings that I had. If the wars, the World War III, the revolution, whatever you want to call it, is going to happen, it needs to happen in my lifetime, so I can deal with it and get it done so my future generations won't have to deal with it. That's the unfortunate thing, that like my granddad and his generation, and also the generation before them, allowed it to happen. They did not stand up for freedom and liberty. They were fooled. They were hoodwinked into just giving it all up. So I'm not completely blaming them, but I'm going to tell you something. If there was a time to do a revolution, it was going to be a lot easier back in my granddad's day, in his heyday. That would have been a time to do it. Now, oh hell, we got a hell of a fight ahead of us. You know, they've got a lot of the earnings of our labor that they've stolen from us, and they've used it to create weapons that they plan on using against us if we don't comply. So, we've got that to deal with. This monolithic... Oh my gosh, he always has to do that. Go jumping around in the water and then come right next to me and shake off. Get out of my pocket. There ain't nothing in there for you. But anyway, it's just one of them things, man. I don't understand why we as a people continue to allow them to steal from us and fund our own slavery. Because that's basically what we're doing. When we allow them to take from us, take our earnings that we labored for, they didn't. And when they take that from us and they turn around and use it to create weapons, everything from words as weapons, everything from actual weapons like in guns and bombs and whatever, every type of weapon that you can think of, they're creating them. And they intend on using it against us if we don't comply. Why are we paying for that? I mean, there's so many cops out there, you know, you sit there and you remind them that they're servants and they work for us, and they deny that. I don't work for you. Well, who in the hell do you think you work for? Well, I work for the city, or I work for the state, or blah, blah, blah. Well, who do you think pays your fucking check? Excuse my language. Who do you think pays your check? It's us. So you work for us. Oh, I pay taxes too. Well, you know what? Those tax dollars that you pay come out of your salary or your check, which is actually paid by us. So therefore, my tax dollars that is stolen from me pays your tax dollars. It pays your salary, your house, your car. It pays all that stuff. You don't pay any of it. You might think you're paying, but it comes out of my check first. So technically, I'm paying your taxes. I'm paying your mortgage. I'm paying your car payment. I'm paying for your kids to go to school. I am. Me and everybody else that works in the private sector. Because the people that work in the public sector are nothing but welfare recipients. Yeah, welfare recipients. Because if we didn't work and earn a living in the private sector, you wouldn't have a paycheck. If you work in the public sector, you wouldn't have a paycheck. If we didn't earn any income and allow them to steal it from us, because that stolen money or that stolen currency is what pays you. So you're nothing but a welfare recipient off of us that actually labor and make and build this country and make this country. You're just, you know, sucking off of us. So I ask all those people out there that are working in the private sector, Why are we paying them? Why are we allowing them to steal from us and then use every bit of what they steal from us against us? Why are we allowing this to happen? Why do we continue to believe that our income that gets stolen from us in the form of taxes is actually being used for good, when it pays police officers to go out here and generate even more revenue from us in the form of arbitrary statutes or victimless crimes? You know, going 2 miles over the speed limit. Didn't harm anybody, didn't cause any damage, but by God, that jerk, you can't do that. We're going to fine you for that. And then now, because of this fucking Rona shit, I mean, seriously, and I'm really trying not to cuss, but when I start getting into speaking the way I normally speak, my language gets a little colorful. So I apologize for anybody out there listening to this video. I apologize for my colorful language. I understand that some people, they get turned off as soon as they hear that type of language, and then they won't listen to any of the message at all, because they get turned off and they just shut their ears off once they start hearing that type of language. So I'm trying to slow myself down on when I'm talking, simply because when I start getting a little faster, or a little bit more fast pace in my thought, colorful language comes out with it, because that's just the way I talk. That's just the way I talk. So I'm trying to be a little bit more respectful in some ways, which, you know, and like I said, and before, I don't care. Honestly, you people need to get over it. But I understand some people will not receive the message I'm trying to get out to you guys once they hear that type of language, because, you know, it turns them off, and then you just don't want to hear it, no matter what I've got to say. So, like I said, I'm going to apologize for any of my colorful language that I have, and but I'm just trying to express myself, and express myself the only way I know how. And like I said, when I get my thought process, it gets a little bit faster. When it speeds up, that's when all that other stuff kind of fills in. So I have to slow down and actually think about what I'm talking about, you know. You know, think about what I'm saying. You know, it's kind of like when I'm on the CB radio, I don't always, you know, use colorful language on the CB radio. I actually try to consciously not have colorful language on the radio. I mean, like I said, I don't care, and honestly, it's free speech in my opinion. So if you don't like it, I don't care. That's not my problem, that's yours. But I will try to respect you for those that have a problem with my language. Because I think some of the stuff, some of my message, some of the things that I talk about, the things I try to warn people about, needs to be heard. And it was brought to my attention today that maybe the delivery of my message could be tweaked a little bit, and one of them could be leaving out some of the colorful language. So therefore I have to really think about what I'm talking about. But my gosh, these stinking yellow flies are starting to get really bad out here, man. I might have to go back to the house. But anyway, I really just wanted to ask you guys, why? Why are we that work in the private sector, why are we just allowing them to take what, our earnings and then use it against us. Why are we allowing this to happen?